That was a nice high five.
Yeah, I felt it.
Oh, episode 30. Oh, I swear I just checked.
9?
38.
Oh, 38. That's my bad.
38 of the Mack podcast, joined by Mack, also known as a slank, also known as just a good human that it's funny how energy just aligns and we just stay connected no matter what. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I say. Like, there's some real ones out there. And that is what you are for me, Maddie. Someone that I can just call up with whatever I'm going through and just express it in the moment.
For sure.
Yeah, that for me.
And I feel as though that we should give your pod a plug, being me.
Oh, yeah.
Love
Mack
that.
being me. Yeah.
Love that.
Thanks, bro.
We could post this on that as well.
100%.
There's some episodes on there that are just captivating. So sometimes I'll just go and click on an episode and it'll just take me to where I need to be, which is nice.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you very much. You're a massive influence for me for actually doing that, because we're just sharing your stories with me allows me to open up more and more. And as I sort of go wherever I'm going in my journey, I feel it's just a beautiful way to express our human side, like wherever we are, whatever we're feeling, whatever we're going through, in a form of a podcast. Because it's a bit different, hey, because like I could feel it even like before when we were just talking to how are we, and then like you hit the record and then you can feel okay, yeah, the heart beats a bit faster. It's a bit of a different energy because the thoughts will come in of like, okay, now it's like the camera's on or whatever it is, but it's no different. It's no different to before. It's just the more and more you do that, the more and more you get to see more of yourself, really, just through expressing whatever's going on.
Love
So
that.
yeah.
Love that. No, vice versa, dude. Like when I was in, when this sort of journey kicked off for me, I sort of was followed. Well, I don't think you've been on the Mack podcast. So I think this is I'm surprised that we haven't done a pod
Yeah.
yet. But anyway, we're here now. The fact that the way we connected was just through I seen a quote that you posted on one of Aubrey's videos, and then I'm following you, and then I posted a video about what I was going through. Then underneath you posted a new music video called The Awakening of what I was sort of feeling as I was moving through. So then from that point, I sent you the video of me, and then you're like, can we get on a call? And I don't think I've ever felt an instant connection with someone as quickly as I did with you, because I finally felt like I was understood. When you were like, are you feeling this, this, and this? I'll never forget it. You're at work. You're in your high vis. You got your headphones on. You can hear all the machinery in the background. You're like, dude, are you feeling this, this, and this? Is this, and this happening? Is this, and this happening? I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And you said, welcome home.
Welcome home, Maddie. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've never instantly had a connection with someone like that. And then 2 minutes later, I'm telling you everything, my whole life's journey. And what a beautiful connection that is.
Oh man. Taking me back now, eh? That was beautiful, bro. Because I remember that as well. You slid into the DMs, watch this, and that was your video where you were just sitting down in front of the camera for 10 minutes or 12 minutes, just expressing the experience that you're going through. And that was your awakening of walking through the where is it, like some park somewhere with Janae, and she's like, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, like everything's okay, like nothing's wrong, everything's right. Yeah. And then getting onto that call with you for the first time, can't really explain it, like the energy that we feel when we're connecting like that. And yeah, and as I said at the start, it's like there's a certain group of people that I call the real ones that you just have this natural connection to. It's like a magnetic pull. And that's what we felt from that first time, bro, which was like going back 2 years in November, December 21.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been knowing you for years, but
yeah,
lifetimes. We've
100%.
probably been soul brothers in another life.
Yes.
Now
I feel it.
reflecting back on that period, I feel as though that was a period where I was suffering through the mind of COVID and the business and the constant head noise I had, knowing that a number on a screen would dictate my whole emotional state every single day. And reading that book, The Celestine Prophecy, made me surrender to what was going on in my mind, and then instantly just dropped into my body and had like a click moment. And then that's where I was just looking around, realizing that everything is just the way it is, so that's, now looking back, it was just, I was just sick of suffering, and it spontaneously just hit me that it was like, it's all part of the plan, it's all good. Which was nice, because I was suffering there for a while. Every day, 8 a.m, New South Wales Premier would get on the screen and she would say, you could just tell by her body language, and you're like, please, 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 please say it's gone down, please say it's gone down, please say it's gone down. And then it would go down, and then you'd have like this, oh, we're on the right track. And then the next day would be go up. And then it would be like you're caught up in a thought. And that just played off for way too long. So then I just said, I'm done. And then just went bang. And that was sort of the start of it. So for me, COVID was a little bit of a blessing in that sense.
Yeah, exactly the same for me, brother. That was what I say is my awakening through COVID as well. And I was very much deep into the other side of the news, the news that wasn't being broadcasted, of like, say, the riots going on all around the country, in protest of what was happening, this enforced mandates and all this sort of stuff. And I was like deep in it, of like, fuck this, I don't want to take this shit. This is not going to happen. And I was just deep in this identity and just hating it as well. And a lot of suffering for me. And there was a lot of resistance to what was happening. And there was a moment where I had this feeling inside of me, which is probably the first time I've actually listened to that feeling, like my intuition, gut feeling, God's voice, whatever you want to call it. And that was just like a knowing that I didn't want to go down this path that I've been going down up until that point for 33 years.
Wow.
Like my whole life I'd been heading this direction, and I'd never really listened to myself. I'd always surround myself with people. Growing up with my parents, I'd feel like a little bit of suppression in terms of like, do what you're told, this is what you got to do. Two brothers as well. And just throughout all that experience leading me up to this moment through COVID, I never really slowed down and actually asked myself some questions about what makes me happy. What do I want? Where do I see myself? What brings me joy? What makes me feel energized after, and what I realize is conversations like this. But I feel like that was such an important shift in a lot of people's lives, like COVID. It had that effect. The whole world stops. And now you're left with yourself, like your mind, you're locked in the house. So you can't escape anymore. Yeah.
It was like one of two ways. It's either you went further down the rabbit hole, or you realized that, all this suffering can end if you want it to end internally, not externally. Like, we were all still kicking on now, and it was just all an experience that we've been through. But when you're in it, is when you're trying to scratch and claw to get out of it. And I think that's personally what I was trying to do, was fighting to get out of it, knowing that I wasn't getting anywhere. And it wasn't until I surrendered, put my hands up and said, I'm done, I'm not playing this game anymore. That's when peace arrived for me. But
yeah, it's like, what can you do? What can you do in that moment? Like all the options were taken away, hey, and your whole life was dictated by one person saying, these are the numbers this day. Yeah,
but
man.
Step of thought. Sorry, you go, bro.
No, I was just going to say, it's interesting because like I've gone through something very similar again. It's like a transition, but I think you're going to stem it forward now as well.
I was going to stem it forward to the now and check in with you and see how everything's been. How you been now, brother? What's been happening?
I'm good now. Yesterday I was deep in it, and that's what I was, I guess, alluding to, like this transition, like, through the whole COVID and that sort of I went through my awakening. And in that, I was in an awakening program, and I became a coach, and I was doing it for 1.5 years. And it wasn't until last week was my final week of of doing that, of being an awakening coach. And I remember you had a chat to me like last week saying, you know, if you would imagine 6 months ago, like in January, would you be in the position now that you're at? Like I never would have foreseen this. I had in my mind, I was like, this is it. This is the thing. I love it. This is my purpose. This is where I'm going to go. And then it just sort of went on this path where I'm no longer in alignment with where it's heading,
Mm.
you know, but now I'm at a place to actually know that from my heart instead of just doing whatever, wherever it's going, the direction, like actually knowing that I'm not feeling that this is for me anymore. And it's come to a place of like, okay, so the last year and a half, I've poured all of my love, all of my energy, all of my attention into this thing that I felt was going to be the thing. And now, like, yeah, a week ago, it's finished. So, okay, now what's going to happen? And, you know, it's only like this, the first week of it not being happening, that all the thoughts have come in of like, what am I going to do? What's the next thing? Where am I going to go? And that's what I was feeling yesterday, brother, when you called me up. I was just deep in it of just wanting to do something, of what's going to happen, where is it? Just purely deeply into my thoughts, into my head, and it's like a spiraling.
And it's just, the thing is that you are the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's funny that we get caught in those, you know, I don't know if you call them traps, but just this, you think there's a thing that's going to give you a thing and it's going to become the thing. And then when you get the thing, it's going to give you the thing. It's like, no, you are the thing, full stop. Like there's no more else to go after that. It's like, you are it. And that's where it starts and it ends with you. But with that being said, it's completely natural for the mind to want to travel into the future to see, you know, sometimes it's comforting to say, oh, this is the thing. Yeah, I'm set. You know, and I think it's a little bit of a comfort that we like to feel of like, oh, once we just continue on this, it'll all open itself up. And then the universe goes, we're going to go over here. And then straight away, the uncomfortability of the unknown is like, fuck. And the mind will creep in there and be like, what are we going to do? How's it going to look? What's it going to be now? I thought that was the thing. Where's the next thing going to come? What's it going to look like? And we try and box it in and work it out where, you know, and it's fine. We all get caught in that, and I still get caught in it too. But I think, you know, I'm reading a book now called The Pathway of Surrender by David Hawkins, and it's called Letting Go. And it's like letting go of all those emotions, letting go of all those feelings, letting go of all those attachments of thinking that you know the way. And as you touched on, as you said, if you went back to January and in January you got a little bit of a check-in of what it was going to look like in July, you would have gone, no chance, you know? But that was because you thought you knew how it was going to play out. You know, even me with friendships, life, what's come, what's gone, I'm still here and I'm still enjoying being here. And I think that's where it has to be so simple, just as that. It's just enjoy just being here. Enjoy the moment that's in front of you as much as you can. Learn from the moments that you don't necessarily enjoy, you know, progress. You know, I think sometimes we lose touch of how far we've actually come in this journey, because it's funny now, things come up and I see it completely differently. I was like, oh, 6 months ago I would have like held on to that, or 6 months ago I would have played that out like that. Or, you know, sometimes it's nice to give ourselves a bit of gratitude of like the year and a half of you doing the awakening was the best thing that you're supposed to, like, that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
100%. I couldn't imagine the version of me that was before the start of the awakening to where I am now. It's a completely different human being, completely different way of being. And that's what I feel as well. Like even when I started the coaching, I just had this feeling or a thought of like, this is setting me up for whatever's next. Like almost like this is an apprenticeship for that, whatever is, you know, but that's everything in our life as well. Everything that we've gone through. has brought us to where we are now, to this moment. But we can lose sight of that when we do get in the mind of like, oh, but I've got to do this and I've got bills to pay, like for me, because that's another thing of I'm actually going to be starting up electrical work again, just 3 days a week. And that was meant to start 1 or 2 weeks ago. Now, I think the 17th of July. And so that's also coming in to my mind of like, oh, okay. So the delay has been the generators haven't arrived. Well, I can't do anything about that. They're coming from another country or wherever. I can't do anything about that. But the mind is like, well, what are you going to do? And if I'm in that, like I'm losing this moment thinking about what I'm going to do about a moment that's not even here, about the future. Because there's nothing I can do. It's completely out of my control. And it's exactly what you're saying with that book, Surrender, Let Go. Like there's nothing you can do.
Love that.
Yeah.
So true. It's true, but we get caught in it, and that's completely fine too. Like expressing that yesterday you got caught in it a little bit. Okay, cool. I think it's not about resisting that you're going to get caught in it again.
Yeah.
Sometimes I used to get that. I still do it. It sort of whispers now, whereas it was a lot louder before, and it was my ego saying, like I'd find this new profound energy within myself. It's like I'd unlock another door and I'd go deeper. And it's like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
I am not coming off this feeling. This is nah. And I remember I was driving. I was like, nah, this is. And I think that's when I dropped the whole porn thing. I just had this new profound energy within myself of like, nah, this is it. Fuck yeah. I'm not moving from this. And then sooner or later, something happens. And I'm like, and I've lost it. And it's
Yeah.
like, you haven't lost it. You're just moving through something again. But rather than trying to resist a fight to get back to that feeling, it's just like sit with whatever feeling is in you at the moment. Because I think it was with Roman's podcast. It was such a profound thing that's been sitting with me a lot lately. It was, I think Romans was a couple episodes back, but how he was saying how his mind was just suffering and he just clicked back into his body and felt whatever he was feeling. I was like yesterday. What feelings were you feeling in your body yesterday? Like not the mind, just the body. If you're going to just go off emotions, what feelings were you feeling yesterday?
Yeah. It was like a tightness in my chest. I was feeling like an anxiousness.
Yeah.
And then just a lost, just a feeling of being lost. Like I'm out in the middle of the sea and I don't know where I'm going, and like my wife's talking to me in the kitchen and I'm just staring at her, but I'm staring straight through her, and just lost in my mind. Yeah. And I could feel that in my body as well. Just
yeah. So okay. So if you're gonna put them into words, it would be what? Loss, anxiousness.
yeah.
What else?
Probably alone.
Yeah.
Feeling alone, feeling unsure, I guess. Yeah. Uneasy. Yeah.
Okay. And those are the feelings that you felt, which are all okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those feelings, so that was in your body, those feelings, which is about identifying the feeling and just sitting with it. Okay. I'm feeling a little bit lonely at the moment. It's because I want to go do something. I'm feeling a little bit of anxiousness because I feel like I should be out there doing something. I'm feeling a lack of loss because I feel like I should be out there doing something. And that's where it should end.
Yeah.
Where now we'll go into the mind. What was the mind saying?
It was you gotta keep moving. Like you can't stop now. What are you thinking? Like there's so much to do. Yeah, it was just perpetuating these thoughts of like, fuck, this is it. So what's next? Okay. You can do this. Yeah. Yeah, but can you really do this? Okay. Like and then just taking me on this merry-go-round. Which is okay too.
And
It's just it. Yeah.
And when that's the part that hurts.
Mm.
That's the part that we suffer with. Like all those thoughts in the mind of what it is. The feelings are okay.
Yep.
Like the feeling of that pain is okay, that you just feel like that a little bit. Like if we all just felt happy and peaceful and joy, then that'd be boring. So this book is, that's why I asked you that, because this book is really identifying that the feeling that you have within your body is always okay,
Mm.
and just being like, I'm feeling a little bit sad today. And it's because of, this, and this. Or even if you don't know, there's days, I think those are the hardest days where you're like, I feel sad, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Just saying that you feel sad is identifying the emotion that's in your body. But it's why do I feel sad? This person fucked me over. This person said this. That person said that. What should I be doing? How should it be? This is how it should go. I don't want that. I like this. That's
Mm.
what hurts. That suffering is what hurts. It's not necessarily the pain. I think the pain's good for growth. It's the suffering that the mind consistently feeds.
Yeah. And there's never an end to those questions. You get an answer, and then the mind is just going to come back with something else. And
I don't know what just came up. I just a Google search. You search someone on Google, and then there's 30 different things that you can click on. I just seen that in my third eye.
Yeah, that's exactly it, bro. Like there is no end to that. But there's nothing to do with that either. Because you can become a thought detective. You can like look into why is it happening? Why am I feeling this way? But like we're human beings having emotions, and really we're like talking monkeys when you come back to it. So why do talking monkeys care about their feelings or their thoughts that they're having? If you bring it back to that, I think that was Terence McKenna, got from Soul of Jarrett. He loves him. It's so true. Like why are we so invested in whatever is coming up in our the way that we feel, way we think? It's literally an emotion that can move through us if we just allow it to. It's just we're in a habit of entering it. And I was reading Eckhart Tolle, and he's talking about the pain body, and I realized that's what I was going through yesterday. Sometimes it can just come up in your experience, like a thought could trigger it, or a reaction from somebody, somebody says, like my wife said something, and it just comes up, and it takes over your thinking in a way. It's like an alien that takes you over, and then all of a sudden the thoughts that are coming in are coming from this pain body, from this negative experience, and it feeds off other people. Like if you're close to somebody, for my wife, like you can actually get into a moment where I'm going to start to poke her and prod her and try to bring out her pain body, because then that comes together and it feeds off that, and it has its moment. But the more you become aware of this, of your happening inside of yourself, the more you can see that and say, okay, there it is again. I'm trying to provoke my wife right now because I wanted to feed this negative experience. And it's also what we were talking about together, brother, about like, having conversations about some people. Like we can get into the habit of talking about other people and like judging them, even if we're in a place of we're in the good and they're in the bad or whatever. It's still, if you're talking about other people in a way that's judging, you're still feeding like a part of you that's an ego, and we can get lost in that. And that'll feed itself, that'll create its experience within you.
Judgment can come through when you're feeling insecure as well.
Yeah.
When you're feeling like you're in an insecure state, judgment can come up because subconsciously it makes you feel better for that split second of going, you know what I mean? But you're still left with that yuck feeling of like, why are you talking shit in the first place? And then you get caught in the trap of everyone else talk shit.
Yeah. And then you judge yourself for judging.
100%. Yeah. And then you think everyone else judges because you've judged. So I think it's funny being on the journey, like of self-development, because I love how Ram Dass says, I wish some people didn't get on the journey. But I wouldn't mind stepping into that topic that we spoke about, which I'll read to you again what I sent you, and then we can just let it go, which is nice. I was just driving and it was like, don't focus on people understanding you. Focus on understanding yourself deeper, which in turn will help people understand themselves. Nobody has seen this world like you have, so nobody will understand the way you see life. But you have the tools and practices which allow people to see their own lives for themselves and what attachments and blockages come with it to let go of it. So what sort of come through for me, which I would be like, love to dive into it with you, is that I think we all just want to be seen. And I think social media has amplified that. You know, all it is see me, see me, see me. I know, I know, I know. And just seeking that validation through external sources to be seen. And then the fake dopamine hit of validation comes through the likes, the comments, the whatever comes with that. Now, I think it's nice to feel as though that you have the answers, but it's only based off your perspective of the way that you've seen life. So to put it in context of the reason that I sent that to you is that like a thing came into me, like a little light bulb moment of everything I do moving forward should be purely based for me. And it's because that the things that I've seen and what I've been through and the things that I've felt and my upbringing, my parenting, my teachings, my experiences cultivate this life of what I can see through my eyes. Now, if you've lived a completely different life and seen the exact opposite of what I've seen, how are you supposed to feel and understand what I'm saying to you? How are you supposed to see this world through my eyes when you've seen it completely differently? You know, and there's things that we've all sort of gone through that we can openly express together that we've seen that are similar, but ideally you are one of one. So the energy should be sent within to just see life the way you should see life and just purely focus on that. Focus on what you feel, focus on the things that make you feel a certain way and bring you out more peace within you. Because I think if you're trying to teach someone how to feel something that you, the way you, because you've seen it a certain way and they don't, that's not going to last because their programming is not written that way. So teaching people how you see yourself in turn will give people the energy and the confidence to be able to see that their lives through their own eyes and understand the way they've been, I don't know, programmed or developed. And yeah, I don't know, it just sort of came up. It was sort of like, wow, I can let go of that attachment of trying, you know, not everyone's done ayahuasca. Not everyone's seen life the way I've seen it. And that's completely okay. But how about I just express the way I see life and not have to put that energy of allowing other people to see it the way I see it, because no one's going to see the way life the way I see it. The end.
Bro. You just took me somewhere because I felt when you're expressing, I just felt so much love and acceptance for who you are, you know, and it's so true that social media, where a lot of people, even me, man, that the more I want to put myself out there, the more I see that I'm trying to present something. You know, there are moments where I'm trying to present something to hear me. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you feel me? You know, I'm here. I'm worthy. I'm enough. But the you being yourself is what people feel. And it's exactly what you're talking about, bro. No one can express or yeah, put into words what you've been through but you. And the more that you can express that yourself, your true self, the more that life can be expressed. And that can be felt through all ends of the world. That's what we've witnessed. It's what we've realized. Like so many people just feel your energy when you're expressing yourself authentically and truthfully and vulnerably. And that is the new shift that's happening, bro. And I see it. And there's a reason why we resonate with each other, and also why we're connecting with all these people around the world that light us up in the same way, because it's just humans expressing their experience and not trying to put on a show, you know, just being themselves.
Oh, well, that is true. But doesn't it just free you?
Yeah.
I feel free just saying that, of like everything I post, everything I openly express, everything I move through is just for me to understand myself better. you know, because I think, it's nice to have, as Ram Dass says, we're just walking each other home. But everything I've sort of listened to and felt is because I felt something that I've been through for myself. So when someone expresses a story about themselves, the likes of Jared, Eben, Gus, Roman, like different people that we resonate with, it's not necessarily the story that they're speaking. It's just that they make us feel more comfortable within ourselves.
Yeah.
They're not
They're
they're
showing
not
they're
trying.
human.
Yeah. And they're not trying to express that energy of like, I know the way. Because that's where you get caught up, is when people like, I know, I've done the awakening program. I know how it's supposed to go.
And I did get caught up there.
I know the way. I've read Eckhart Tolle's book. That's all you have to do. Just be present, know that everything happens for a reason, and I know.
And you should all know, the world needs to know this.
Everyone
And
needs to know this.
I'm on a mission to tell the world, to awaken it. But, I feel like you have to go through that. I feel like that's just a moment that you need to go through that stage, when it's all opening up for you and you're starting to see life as it really is. And why not express that to the world,
Yeah. I think it's a part of the program to go through. I think
Yeah.
everyone hits that chapter.
Yeah.
So moving forward, where do we lead? Where do we go?
We lead with our heart. That's what I'm seeing, brother. And that's the more that you devote yourself to yourself. So meditation, mindfulness, stillness, nature, whatever calls you, because you know the answer. The more you lead with your heart, the more you will be guided to which way you're going to go. And thank you, brother, for this, because I'm seeing it for myself. Like, just to relax and be here, because I've got 3 young girls, and I know that they're going to grow up and they're going to go to school. Right now, their eldest, Ella, is 5. Next year she'll be at school 5 days a week. Right. So I'm here now, and there's a reason I'm here now, to be with them. Yeah. To be with them.
We had that chat. I think Janae was the one that sparked it. It was like, there will be a lot that will open up for her growing up, like in the next couple of years. I can see it. I can feel it, whatever that looks like. But she just said, I know things are coming. I can feel it. But for now, I'm their mum and they need their mum. And I'm going to enjoy every moment I can while they're little. And it was funny because when I went on that journey of trying to be something and like, when's it going to come? How's it going to look? Where is it going to go? And all that attachment. It wasn't until sort of that was like, oh, I'm supposed to be here too. It was like thinking that I had to be elsewhere.
Yeah.
So now that deep sense of level of presence of like, fuck, the girls are still little and I get to have all this time with them. Like that is what I'm going to look back on and be like, looking back on my life, I'm going to look up and go, that made so much sense, that period there. Where, Janae works the back end stuff for G3. I've got my 4 to 5 shifts a week and the opportunity and ability to be able to pick them up every day from daycare, spend afternoons with them, spend full days with them, wake up with them. And how many people I know out there that see their kids at 7:00 at night for an hour or just on the weekend, or, 90% of people don't have this the way we have it. So be grateful for that. Still trying to be somewhere else.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And it's reminding yourself of that, because wherever you are, you can never run away from your mind, and it's always going to want to take you away. And that's for me, of like being here, being in the office, and then with the girls having breakfast, and the mind is always finding a way to run away and like, no, you got to do this now. But it doesn't actually realize that this moment is all there is. And these kids are going to grow up, they're going to have their own experiences, but there is a reason why we are in the position that we're in at this stage of our life, this journey, and to honor that. So for me, that's take away those distractions, bro, because the phone is what distracts me and takes me away. The phone just scrolling. And, and it was only on Sunday in the morning at the breakfast table. I was just on the kitchen table and I had my phone on scrolling, and my wife just said, "Do you need to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to do that right now?" I was like,
What did the ego want to say? Yes, because I have to do something.
I'm honest with it. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I expressed how I feel as well. And I said, yeah, that actually makes me feel like I'm a little boy and I'm getting told off by my mum, because that's how it comes up for me in the moment, And she's like, it's not like that. But I know it's not like that. It's actually irrelevant of what you're saying. It's just how I feel.
Mm.
And just expressing that, bro, because I would suppress that, how I feel, And for me, I would suppress how I'd feel and I'd just be miserable. And that would be my day, walking around like this miserable, mopey guy. Because I'm thinking that I'm doing the right thing by suppressing how I'm feeling, but it has the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to be seen, I don't know, there's a little part of us every now and then, if we're in that insecure state of feeling like we're doing things right. Like we want to be told that we're doing things right, and we don't want to be told that we're doing things wrong. It's like, am I doing it right? Is this the way it's supposed to be? Especially by the ones that we love.
Yeah.
Or when someone says it's not supposed to be like that or whatever, it can easily be a trigger. But just on that, and just quickly on that thing, that I just want to sort of stem it back a little bit, that feeling of, presence with the girls now that you're in this position and I'm in this position. Do you feel a lot more present and a lot more love coming through, knowing that you're exactly where you're supposed to be rather than trying to be something else or somewhere else?
Yeah. I feel the love through my girls, like just their energy field, like Maya, our 10-month-old, just being, clicking back into the moment and just seeing her light up the way she smiles. I feel her whole energy field smiling.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, where has this been? The thoughts, where has this been? It's always here. It's just behind your thought about wanting to be somewhere. That's all it is. Like life just opens up, man. And our girls are just incredible beacons of presence for us to experience that, for us to click us back into now. They're such great gifts, bro. So that's what I'm feeling more and more.
Beautiful teachers, aren't they?
Yeah, they're our gurus.
Well, you're very similar to me. There's like female energy. We're outnumbered. So that's okay. You let the emotions come and go. But it's such a beautiful thing to be able to sit. And that's the thing with our connection, bro. It's just always, the thing I love about you so much is that I just always get this, whatever it is. There's never a conversation or anything that's anything but whatever is going on in that moment, and I don't have many people in my life that I can be fully open and transparent with like this. And no, I'm always going to get that consistency of just whatever it is in that moment, and it's such a beautiful thing that you don't wrap yourself in anything or try and be anything but you. How whenever I call you, it's like whatever's going on in that moment. It's like, hey, bro, how you going? You're like, yeah, good. Actually, hang on. Sorry, I just said good. Let me just stem it back a little bit. This is what's going on for me, and sometimes it just always correlates. Like even if I'm in a bit of something, I always get that call slang, and you live in Perth, so I just call you, and if you answer, and vice versa. And then I know I can just sit comfortably knowing that I'm in a safe place waiting for just, and you're like, hey, bro, what's been happening? I'm like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And then just that presence alone is like energetically expressing it. And then it's sometimes that your energy is so beautiful and present is that you haven't even said anything back. And I'm already like, you could be like, are you done? Yep. Okay, bro. See ya. Bye, bro. Thank you. But that human connection is so beautiful, which makes obviously technology. So that's one positive thing about technology. We've only met in human face to face once. So allowing that presence is such a good thing. So yeah, bro, I just wanted to give you that gratitude.
Thank you, bro. And thank you. Like I felt that so much love. And yeah, I'd say there's only really one or two people like Janina, my wife, and you, really, that I could call in any moment, whatever I'm going through, and just express my truth. And that's a special thing, bro. You know, that's what I endeavor to do as well. I endeavor to be myself as much as I can. You know, and it's through these conversations, it's through podcasts, it's through putting yourself out there that you get to see that. And yeah, man, like I said, there's only one or two people really that I can fully express in the heat of the moment, whatever I'm going through, and know that there is zero judgment. There's just pure love and presence. And I love to listen. Maybe that's what I am. I love communicating. I love listening. It's natural for me. Yeah, bro. So thank you for your presence. And this is just such a beautiful moment. Hey.
Yeah, it is, man. And that's the thing with human connection. It's so powerful, and we could get so caught up in our minds where sometimes we just need a little bit of presence to just free ourselves for a little bit. Sometimes I know most of the time that's a gateway for me. Even yesterday I was a little bit I was feeling a little bit frustrated, anxious, and not focused. And Janae's like, I'm going to go for a walk. And we always walk together. She's like, do you want to come? And because I was in that feeling and I wasn't being present, I was like, no, you go over it. It's all good. I was so unpresent. I didn't even hear the garage door and her leave with her car. I was like, wow. I was that unpresent in what I was sitting in, that program, that thought of like frustration of just doing some things. I can't walk. I've got so much to do. And we usually, it's like a ritual now. We walk on a Monday and sort of like prep ourselves for the week and just have to give each other that presence of what, we want to achieve and how the weekend was. And it's just a good way to connect. And we've been doing it for a while now. And I was that unpresent. She left in her car. Once I was stuck in it, I was walking around the house trying to fix something that was like not even here yet. I sent her a message and I said, I should have come for a walk. And she's like, I know, but it's okay. Why didn't you come meet me? I'll walk back to my car and come meet me and we'll walk together, because it was still time before we picked up the girls and I had to go to work. My response was, where is your car? Because I thought it was in the garage still. I thought she just went for a walk around the block. And she's like, I'm at the river. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. I'm getting ready now. And that's when I called you just on audio, because we usually do FaceTime, and just sort of express sort of what was like going on and just hearing where you were at, which was nice. Because sometimes you can free yourself from your own suffering by listening and being present with someone else talking.
Yeah.
Just gives you that little bit of a like distance.
It happened yesterday, bro, with you. You called me yesterday, or I called you, I don't know, but I was going through it, man. And exactly that. I started laughing towards the end of our call. And I was like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. It does. It gives you that present. It gives you that space, man, because you're so far in your head that you can't see anything. You can't even hear Janae leaving. I love how Janae asked you, do you want to go for a walk? She's so intuitive, man. Like our partners, wives, fiancés, they're just so with it. Yeah, I love that, man. But yeah, it does take just a bit of presence, stillness, all the things that you don't want to do when you're in it. Of course, go for a walk, nature, a phone conversation with someone present. That's all it takes to click you out of the head.
It's funny that you're in it and so was I, and we got each other out of it because we only had one call yesterday. And that was the call.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. It was like, be present with you. just go be present with Mark. And then I was getting dressed listening to you talk. And that freed me up a little bit. Then I pulled up at the river and Janae's there waiting. And then we walked and I just said, oh, I'm sorry. I should have walked with you earlier. And she goes, I know. She's like, you're all right. And then I just said, oh, this is how I felt, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
And then knowing the reasons why, like the root cause of that feeling. And then being present in the conversation, it was like, oh, welcome back.
Yeah.
And that's the catalyst of, you know, catalyst might not be the word, whatever it is. That's the difference, I should say, between sitting with something for 3 days than sitting with something for 30 minutes or 3 hours.
100%. 100%, bro. Because we could, and we could sit in that for weeks, you know, that energy of
Suffering.
Frustration, suffering, but it's all self suffering as well.
Yeah.
And emotions, you know, we're humans, we're meant to feel. However, emotions have moments. They're meant to be like very momentary, you know, like a minute or I don't know how long, but not 3, 4 days, 4 weeks, not lifetimes, you know.
You're keeping yourself in it.
Yeah.
By sitting in the suffering, where it's like, just work out the feeling, work out, you know, if there's a reason why, sit with the why and know that it's okay too. Oh, this person said this and it made me feel a little bit sad. Okay, sweet. Is there action that needs to be took? Or is it just a little bit of a healing that needs to happen? They've touched a wound that you maybe necessarily haven't looked into.
Yeah.
You know. So sit with that, meditate on it if you have to, or take action if you have to have a conversation or whatever. And then it's just like the river, it just flows out. And then you just, oh, wow, free yourself from that attachment because you're the one holding on to the rope.
Yeah.
Let go of the rope. Yeah,
Yeah.
but what's going to happen if I let go of it? Where's it going to go? How's it going to land? What's it going to look like? How big is it? How little is it? What color? Like, it's like it all doesn't matter.
No.
Because, you know, give us a quiz at the start of the year as to where we would both be in July. And I guarantee you and me wouldn't have picked where we are now. Not saying that we wouldn't have picked it as it's a bad place, but we would have felt as though that it would have been different. And that's where you've got to remember that nor you or me do have control as to where it all goes, you know.
Yeah.
The universe has control of that. And what a beautiful thing, just letting it all, just let the boat land wherever it lands or go wherever it's supposed to go.
Yeah, man. If you knew exactly every move of your life, it'd be a pretty boring life as well. That's what I always come back to, that perspective.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I'll share something I do as well, brother. On Mondays now, I've started the last couple of weeks. It's like a check-in with myself. First thing in the morning, I get a Google Doc out and I just start having like a coaching call with myself, with my 85-year-old self. That's what I call it. I got it from this guy, Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's literally just sitting down and just typing 85 and then, you know, or like me, whatever I'm going through, however I'm feeling in the moment. And then my 85-year-old self just responding, you know, generally laughing at myself. You know, of course you'd feel that way, you know, because the 85-year-old self has the perspective and the experience of what you've gone through.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's just sitting with yourself, you know, and it's just going through whatever is happening. It's just another way to do that.
And it's all okay.
It is.
It's always okay. It's always okay. Just like, yeah. Good chat, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Anything else coming up?
Just how simple it is, Matty. Hey, you know, like I'm just sitting out here, I'm looking at my next door neighbor's tree outside, just watching it just slowly moving in the breeze, little flowers. There's nothing really to do. It's purely being here. You know, like you're right, the universe does have plans for us that we could never ever foresee. Like, and it could be so far greater than what we've imagined. If you open yourself up for that and allow yourself to be guided through that, you know.
Putting the energy into understanding yourself more. Because
Yeah.
when you continuously, and I don't think we'll ever arrive somewhere, but when you consistently put in the work to understand yourself and the way that you operate, it's a lot easier when situations or whatever arises to identify what's actually going on.
100%.
So when things arrive for me now that I might not necessarily want, there's a piece that comes with it automatically now of, ooh, okay, what's this bringing up? Where's
Yeah.
this? What's this? What am I feeling inside my body at the moment that has come from this situation? You know, okay, I'm just okay. And then it's like, even I think it was like, yeah, a couple of months ago, I was sitting with something for a couple of days. I was fucking hurt. I was like, oh, this hits, like, this is a healing. Like, I need a couple of days just to heal with this. And you're like, hey, bro, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm still healing from that thing. And because I could openly express what it was, what happened, how it looked, what it triggered in me because of my understanding of myself, it was like 2 days there. And I was like, oh, nice. Feeling good. Because I'm openly expressing to you
Yeah.
and Janae and others what it brought up, getting your perspective, getting a bit of a blind spot check in, which I think is important. Like checking my blind spot. Am I missing something? Yeah, understanding yourself more, putting the energy there. No one has the answers for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Hey, no one's going to tell you what you need to know. It's all inside of you.
Mm,
But I feel that's powerful though, brother, that expression. So find people, whether it's voice message, calls, whatever, just to express whatever you're going through in the moment. And then
yeah.
that's where you can separate from it because you start to speak it and you start to see it through that speaking of it. That creates a separation naturally. And that's the beauty that I have with you, brother, having you in my life.
Vice versa, my dude. What an episode.
Yeah, man. Thank you for this.
This was nice. Couldn't tell you what we spoke about.
It felt
That,
good. Felt really good.
well, that's all that matters. Like we said, I got this massive ringing when you said that. How good.
Oh wow.
This podcast was for us. And if it
Yeah.
does resonate with someone and it allows someone else to understand themselves more or want to check in with themselves more or feel a little bit of freedom because there's something in this podcast that made them feel a little bit more free, then how beautiful, as an addition to the way this podcast made us feel, full stop, because that's it. That's where the focus is.
100%, bro. That's a beautiful byproduct of us just being here with ourselves and unpacking our own experience.
I agree. Over and out, dude. We'll do
All
this
right.
again. This was
We will.
beautiful.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Maddie.
Until next time. Thank you, guys. If this resonates, share it with a family or friend. Slap us with a 5-star review. Go check out the Slanks podcast, which is Mark, Mack being me. Some beautiful episodes on there. I don't know, what episode was it that just hit home? Was it 9?
4 for you? Was it rushing?
Yes. What number
Yeah.
was that?
4 or 6?
Yeah, I think it was 4. Got me good, man. Needed it at that time in my life for sure. But there's some beautiful episodes in there. So we'll do this again very shortly.
Well, much love, Maddie boy.
See you, brother.